Hi, Grader. My name is Susan. So I have been a subscriber for some time now. I really enjoy your videos. Please, I have a question. I'm in my mid-30s and have a wish to visit Canada via relocation. That she has a wish to come to Canada, and I am not sure how to go about it. I would like to try learning French, but don't think I have the strength for it. However, I'm considering coming to school. I am concerned I won't be able to come in with my family bracket husband and 2 kids as soon as possible. What advice would you give, please? I don't think I fit into any of the category based draw. Get that strength to learn French is way better. You will thank yourself months down the line. Get that strength, find it. You don't need to have strength for being an international student here in this Canada. It's better you find that strength from back home and re-strategize. Find it. Hi guys, welcome back to another video on my channel. If you're just stopping by here for the first time, welcome. My name is Greta Imoiti and I'm a Nigerian currently living in Canada. And for my old subscribers, thank you for sticking with me and thank you for coming again to another video. Today's video is born out of a message I received recently on Instagram from someone that says she follows me here, and because it's kind of similar to previous messages I have received, I decided to make a quick video on it. So which one is it? Between coming here as an international student or between facing the challenge of learning French back in your home country and coming to Canada as a permanent resident? Let's talk about some deeply challenging realities of studying in Canada as an international student. So before I continue, please know that I'm not an immigration consultant. I just try to share information here as much as I'm able to. And to even top it all up, I recently had a discussion with one of my colleagues that also studied French and came to Canada because she learned French, took the test and passed the test, and then it motivated me to talk more on this topic. First of all, I'll be talking about some of the challenges I have witnessed through other people's experiences coming to Canada or studying in Canada as an international student. Of course, if you've been following me here or if you're an old subscriber, you will know that I'm not an international student. I came in as a permanent resident. However, even though I have not felt it firsthand, I kind of have witnessed and I've heard experiences. I've had shared experiences from people who have gone through hard times as international students here in Canada. Even on YouTube, on Instagram, you get information or you get information from people about how it's not easy coming to study in Canada. I'm sure if you have the intention of coming to study in Canada, especially if you are not young, if you don't have someone to sponsor you as an adult, a 30-something-year-old person, you will know that coming to study in Canada isn't cheap. For you to be able to get your visa approved to come study in Canada, you must be able to prove to the visa officer that you are able to pay the fees as the school requires. And international students' fees is very different, like totally different. There is a massive gap between the fees that international students pay and the fees that local students pay, including permanent residents. Because if you're a permanent resident, you are considered almost like a citizen and you pay what a citizen pays. So let's say if an international student is paying $31,000, because I know a program where they are currently paying $32,000 as an international student. Some programs pay more. Master students also pay up to $30,000. A permanent resident or a citizen will be paying about $7,000, $6,000, $5,000 Canadian dollars. There are some programs that even cost 3,000 Canadian dollars, whereas international students are paying 17,000, 18,000 Canadian dollars. So you see the massive gap. The visa officer would want you to prove that you can pay that fees. If you're coming for a 2 years program, you should also be able to prove that you can pay the first year and similarly pay the second year fees. The visa officer would also want you to prove that you're able to afford the living expenses here in Canada. And I think about 2 years ago, they increased the living expenses. They increased the amount someone is required to show for living expense to 20,000 Canadian dollars. So instead of 10,000 Canadian dollars, which was previously required, you are now required to prove that for every year of studying here in Canada, you should be able to have 20,000 Canadian dollars to different from your fees to cover your cost of living here, your bills, your rent, your feeding, everything you can think of. So that's one aspect you should consider, the financial aspect. Since coming to Canada, I have come to realize that there is a reason, like a very important reason, why they always want you to prove, why they always want immigrants to prove that yes, they have the financial capacity to come stay in Canada for the period that they will be coming to Canada, because life here is totally different from what you have known back in your home country. So that's why they always want you to prove that you have that money. But the second challenge international students will likely face, especially someone that is like an older adult in your 30s, is the weather. Like the weather for someone that is in mid 30s is something that you should consider. Now everybody experiences the weather, citizens, permanent residents, international students. But the reason why I'm talking about the weather as regards international students is because as an international student, you have your academics to focus on. You have assignments, you have tests, you have group work, and you also are working. You're struggling to make ends meet by working just that 20 hours. And because you know that you do not have any option, you don't have any choice. Even when they say, okay, there's one like roadside work or there's one kind of work available, you are ready and willing to go for it in a very stormy weather. Why? Because you know that you need that money. This is a pressure that most people face, most international students face, because you just have to work and work. Any day you're not working, any chance you get, you just want to use it to work, just to scrape some money in, just to get some money. Guys, before we continue, please, I would like to ask you to subscribe to my channel if you have not subscribed, and also please like and share this video. Thank you very much. So let's continue the discussion. Now we go over to the next thing I want to talk about, one next challenge that I know that international students face, and this would be the academic terrain here in Canada. Honestly, I'm currently pursuing a program here in Canada. Even as a permanent resident, I feel the pressure. The academic terrain here is very intense. Like you have group work, you have assignments that count to your final grade. You have, I hope the English is correct, you have tests, you have exams, and once you fail any of these courses, you know what happens? Yes, the school will let you take that course again, but you will have to pay for that course. You would have to pay to retake that course. So you imagine you're already struggling, you're already working so hard to make ends meet, to survive. Maybe your exchange rate from back home is not so good. Using the example of where I come from, or one thing or the other, you're already struggling to pull things together to hold the fort, and now you fail the program. You will not have to spend money, sometimes $2,000, sometimes $3,000, to retake one single course. That is one of the pressures international students face. You are not just facing academic pressure, you're facing work pressure, you're facing life pressure here in Canada, you're facing loneliness here in Canada. When you put all of these things together, it will feel like you're losing your mind. Now let's go to another point I would want to talk about. I want you to please note that I am stating all of these things in response to the question I got about when coming to study in Canada here or learning French in your home country. just to have that opportunity to come to Canada directly as a permanent resident. So the next point I want to talk about is the immigration uncertainties that we're currently facing in Canada. Recently, the government changed in Canada, and now we have a new immigration minister. Before the new government, things have been changing. There are so many uncertainties, like people are finding it hard to get postgraduate work permits, and people don't know if they would be required to go back to their home country, or if they can blend into the system, become permanent residents from temporary residents. Like, there's so many uncertainties around, or so many international students or temporary residents are currently facing so many immigration uncertainties, and having to come here and so before you come here as an international student, especially in your 30s, you need to think deeply whether your sacrifice will pay off. That's why they would always advise that you also need to consider the course you're coming to study, whether it aligns with what you've done previously, and whether it's something that you can use to integrate into the system here, if it's what you want at the end of the day. So this is also one of the things to consider when you want to weigh the pros and cons of coming here as an international student as against coming here as a permanent resident through the French route. So one last coin I would want to talk about as regards coming here to study as a mature international student would be the emotional toll. See, everyone goes through emotional toll in life at one point or the other, whether back in your home country or whether in Canada, whether you're a Canadian citizen, whether you're a permanent resident, whether you're an international student. But I think the pressure is more on international students. I have not just heard stories. I have like personal, not mine, but someone's personal lived experience of studying here in Canada. I have had to reach out to someone to help. It's not like I'm bragging, like with tears in my eyes, like with pain in my heart. I felt it. Not because the person didn't come prepared, but situation happened one way, but something happened one way or the other. So Canada would test your maturity in every way. You will think you're matured until you come here, and you'll be tried emotionally, you'll be tried financially, you'll be tried socially, because of course you will not have a social life. You're trying to make ends meet. You're trying to survive the best way you can, unless you have formed or unless you have joined a community where you can ask for help. Some days you would cry, not out of sadness, but out of frustration, out of uncertainties, and out of just loneliness. So especially with the fact that you're not coming with your family, you would want someone to reach out to. Your husband, the closest person to you, is not there. Your children, whom you would want to just give big belly squeezy hugs to, they are not there. You would want to lose your mind. So it's good that you consider all of these things. Like I would always tell people, choose your stress. So now let's go to the aspect of learning French and what it takes to learn French. Like I said at the beginning of this video, recently I met someone, a fellow colleague, as we were just and I learned that she also learned French to come to Canada. And I was like, hey, see my mate though. Yes, she shared her struggles, but she also talked about the fact that she would advise anyone coming here to try learning French. It not only gives you an opportunity to come to Canada, but it also gives you something to offer Canada, because Canada is a bilingual country, French and English, and they want people who can speak French, particularly in certain provinces. So it gives you something tangible to offer to Canada. I know someone that learned French. It's two people, in fact, are currently working as bilingual employees here in Canada. So this is something you're bringing, because Canada wants people that can offer them something, right? Now let's talk about the process of learning French. Learning French is not going to be a walk in the park, so don't think it's something that will just be like 4 months, 6 months. Now learning a new language, it will try you, particularly French. You will be tried. But what I would always tell people, choose your trials, choose your temptation. It will try you emotionally, but you know you're in your home country. And whatever stress you're going through, you have people to fall back on. You have strength. Like, you can, when you are overstressed, you can get up one weekend and take yourself out. You forget about French, you forget about everything, you're not bothered, you go for one social activity or the other, you go for one party or the other, because there's always something going on in your home country. That is your terrain, that is your sure ground, right? You can find something to fall back on when you're going through the stress of learning French. Just give yourself like, okay, this is a timeline. I know that it's gonna take me. Some people do it for 1 year, some people do it for 1 year, 6 months. You know that in 1 year, 6 months, you're giving your all to it. So think about, would you want to rather and choose your battles. They'll say pick your fights. What fights do you want to pick? Is it coming here and feeling like you're going mad for 2 3 years? Because after school you still have years to settle down, like maybe 1 year or 2 years. Or is it choosing the stress of learning French back home, learning a new language, something that would give you an extra advantage, not just here in Canada, but in other countries? Because being bilingual, it's a global advantage. This is one of the advice I gave to this person that sent me this message, and I've given to people in time past. Choose your stress. If you learn that new language, you arm yourself with like the language, you learn it well, you take the test, you pass it. There is nothing that will not make you get your permanent residency. I have a friend that's close to my heart. She started putting more effort after I got my permanent residency, and it took her a year and about 3 months, a year and about 3 weeks or 1 month, there about 2 months. I don't know the exact timeline, but not up to a year and a half. She did this exam, she passed it, she took it once, thankfully, and I think 3 days later she got invitation to apply. She and her husband applied. 4 months later, they got their permanent residency application approved. And not just her, two other people I know. So I would always say pick your fight. I know some people have the money back home. They just want to come to Canada because maybe they want to change settings. Maybe they want to change, they just want to come to Canada. Maybe they want to experience life in another place. They want to change location. People have the money back home. God has blessed, and some of us in certain ways. So if that is you and you know that you're not going to undergo any of this stress, please by all means come. But if you know that your family not being here will impact you greatly, your financial status will impact you greatly, you will have to struggle to meet up, even though yes, you presented a particular amount to the government, but you still have to struggle one way or the other to meet up certain areas. Please pick your fights well, because you'll be tried here. Certainly you'll be tried. When people tell you that it is not a walk in the park, that Canada is not a bed of roses, please believe them, it is not a bed of roses. So if you want to come here, arm yourself the right way and know how you are coming here. Thank you very much guys for staying to the end of this video, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Please do not forget to like this video, share and subscribe. Please help me like this video to help me with YouTube algorithm. You know, I missed YouTube for like about 2 months, and so I'm still trying to get the algorithm back. And also, please, if you've not yet subscribed, lots of people watch my videos, like a good number watch my videos without subscribing. So please do not forget to subscribe to my channel, like and share. Also leave your comments for me in the comment section. What are your thoughts on this video? If you're already here, maybe you're an international student, please do well. If you're willing to do well to share your experience, or if you're living here in Canada, what do you think about this topic I discussed today? Or if you're planning on coming here, what do you think? Maybe from the information you have armed yourself with up to this point. Thank you so much guys. Until the next time, bye bye.